Recapping the 2023 offseason moves for the Arizona Cardinals. Let's dive right into it. Alright guys, welcome back in. Now, like I mentioned in the intro, today what I want to specifically do is recap the moves that the Arizona Cardinals have done so far in the 2023 offseason. Now, I do want to apologize up front about the lack of content on this channel. It's just because there isn't really much going on. This is kind of the weird time between free agency and the NFL draft where there's not really much to talk about. So, just go ahead and stay tuned. Make sure you have your post notification bell on whenever there is big news. Obviously, we're going to be making videos and everything like that. And honestly, on my spare time, I'm watching a lot of the Phoenix Suns going to the playoffs, or at least make a playoff run, and seeing where they land in the seeding. So that's what I'm doing a lot in my spare time right now. But let's dive right into this video here. Let's talk about the Arizona Cardinals moves, who we decided to keep, as well as who we did bring in. Now, let's talk about who the Arizona Cardinals decided to keep. Now, obviously, there has been some things that the Cardinals have done where, a lot of people didn't kind of see it coming. We lost both Zach Allen and Byron Murphy to this year's free agency class. Two young players that were very, very, good. I wouldn't say great, but definitely had potential to be a key point in our defense. The Arizona Cardinals allowed them to walk, and now they found themselves in different teams. We also have made other moves like bringing back in Matt Prater, our kicker. We also brought back Kelvin Beachum. We also brought back Will Hernandez. Greg Dortch signed back up again. We ended up releasing Marcus Golden. So there has been moves like that for the Arizona Cardinals where we decided to bring people back that were already Cardinals, but it seemed like the trend has continued where it's only like 1 to 2 year deals max. We haven't really seen anybody get a big deal. And obviously with the Arizona Cardinals and how much of a disaster Steve Keim has left us at, it's unfortunate that Monty Ossenfort's going to need to pick up the pieces. Now, I've been a big advocate out here saying that no great organization allows it to get as bad as it is for this Arizona Cardinal roster. Now, I know that there is some optimistic, hopeful people out there that feel like the Arizona Cardinals are going to be, a good team next year. That's cool. Great. Keep that positivity, keep that optimism. But there's a lot of, sports bettors. Vegas is out saying that the Arizona Cardinals are going to be, winning 5 games, 6 games max next year. Now, obviously, I'm still going to be creating content for the Arizona Cardinals. This is my favorite football team here in Arizona. So we're still going to be creating content, but, let's be honest with the moves that's been made so far with the Arizona Cardinals. I don't think we've gotten better. It seems like we kind of just regressed more than anything. Now, let's talk about the moves that the Arizona Cardinals made. Some external bring-ins, some people that were playing in other teams that are now Arizona Cardinals. Let's talk about them. Now, I think couple of my favorite ones that we ended up signing back. Now, there's a lot of other pieces that we brought in. Now, please keep in mind that these guys that are coming in, they might be camp bodies, they might be practice squad guys, they might not even make the 53-man roster, they might get cut. So please kind of, take these names with the grain of salt. I know sometimes when we put names out there like, who's that? Never heard of that guy in my life. Yeah, I haven't either. But I think what the Arizona Cardinals are trying to do is look into the draft and try to get as much as young talent out of the draft and see if we can land, and hit on a lot of these draft picks. So that's what we're all hoping for, fingers crossed. But let's dive right into what the Arizona Cardinals have done so far. Now, a couple of my favorite signings here is one of them being Kazir White, linebacker. Now, to me, that guy's very intriguing because of the idea of him playing the will linebacker spot, or middle linebacker, but more at the will than the Mike. He doesn't play Mike, he plays will more than anything. So I'm kind of curious to figure out how that's going to work out with Isaiah Simmons, and then Zaven Collins being the Mike linebacker. So I'm curious to figure out how that's going to work out, but I'm excited to see what Kazir White's going to do for the Arizona Cardinals. He ended up signing a 2-year deal. I believe it was up to like $11 million for the 2 years. So definitely a very reasonable, contract for the Arizona Cardinals, and that seems to be what the Cardinals were going to do this offseason. Just very, very reasonable stuff. So one of my favorite signings is Kazir White. Now, another one right after him, which I'm excited about too, about this guy coming in more than anything. Now, obviously, the DeAndre Hopkins, rumors are still out there, but they seem to kind of die down. But we'll definitely keep our eye on that story if that were to play a big factor heading into the 2023 season. But we did end up bringing in a wide receiver, and that is none other than Zach Pascal, wide receiver. This guy right here, I ended up speaking to a couple of my Colts buddies to ask, like, hey, what's some insight on him? And they really speak very, very high praise on Zach Pascal. Now, Now, if you look at his time in the Philadelphia Eagles, I think he had a situation where there was just so much depth within that wide receiving room that he really didn't have a lot of opportunity to do very much. But within the Indianapolis Colts, he's not a superstar guy, but he's going to be the guy that puts in the hard work, right? The guy that's going to be giving you the ugly yards, that type of guy. He's a guy that's over 6 foot. So I'm excited about bringing in a taller wide receiver because, like I said a little earlier, if DeAndre Hopkins does decide to, get traded away, or the Cardinals decide to trade him away, we're going to be finding ourselves in a situation where we got a lot of wide receivers under the size of 6 foot, which I'm not happy about. But I like bringing in Zach Pascal. So excited about him. Let's see what he can do for the Arizona Cardinals. Now, we did also bring in some other pieces that's going to be for our trenches, right? Offensive line as well as defensive line. Now, we got one guy named Hajalt Froholt. He seems like he spent his time with the Browns. He is an offensive lineman. So I'm glad that we're thinking about, the trenches, and I'm glad that we're worried about building that up first, because that should be one of the most important things for the Arizona Cardinals moving forward. So another player to obviously talk about, which is a defensive lineman, he is Kevin Strong. Now, he comes from the Tennessee Titans. Obviously, there is some connections between the Tennessee Titans and Monty Ossenfort, so I'm assuming that's why he brought him in. Now, another guy that ended up coming for the Arizona Cardinals is Dennis Daly. Now, please keep in mind that a lot of these players, these trench guys, I don't really know very much about. I'm just excited that we're bringing in big guys in here that's going to hopefully fill in a hole, because right now I think the biggest hole for the Arizona Cardinals is the center position as well as the left guard position as of right now, because Justin Pugh was that guy, but I don't think the Cardinals are going to bring it back. I truly don't. Now, we got a lot of linebackers, obviously including in Kazir White. We got 2 more linebackers for the Arizona Cardinals, and I know a lot of people are really pissed off with linebackers, but let's see what they do. But also, please keep in mind that these guys can also play special teams or practice squad, or they might even get cut. Like, we don't really know what's going to happen, but we got 2 linebackers for the Arizona Cardinals. We got Josh Woods, linebacker, as well as Kryze Barnes. Well, similar to the trench guys that we were talking about, I don't know very much about these guys. I truly don't. Now, Zach Pascal, as well as Kazir White, has a little bit more of a, statement signings. Everybody else to me seems like, okay, right? Camp bodies, practice squad, special teams type of guys. That's what it really truly feels like to me. Now, like I said a little earlier in this video, I think the Arizona Cardinals' plan is to see how this year is gonna, plan out with doing as minimal as we possibly can. Now, the crazy thing is that the Arizona Cardinals, before free agency started, we had the 7th highest cap space. We had the 7th highest cap space heading into this year's free agency, and we could have made some moves. The Arizona Cardinals truly could have if they wanted to, but I think what they want to do is that they're taking a different approach. They're trying to clean up the mess what Steve Keim has left us, right? Our former GM. They're trying to clean that up, making very minimal signings. Nobody's getting signed anywhere near a big deal, right? Nobody exceeded 3 years in this free agency class, and it's very obvious what the Arizona Cardinals are going to do. They're going to try to compete, yes. Are they going to be good? I don't know. Honestly, I don't... This team is very confusing to me. This organization is very confusing to me. And as of right now, it's just kind of TBD. Let's see how the draft ends up, because if we can land like 4 starters in the NFL draft, I think it can change the trajectory of this season. Obviously, we're not going to be Super Bowl contenders, right? I don't think anybody's considering us being Super Bowl contenders, but I do think that the Arizona Cardinals have a lot of excitement to be had, especially if we can get the right prospects, that we can be really basically focusing on their development, looking into them, right? Seeing how they're developing. Are they a good pick? So Monty Ossenfort, so far, what he's done in the offseason, not the biggest fan of, right? I'm not the biggest fan of losing Byron and Zach Allen. I'm not the biggest fan of the signings, or at least most of them. There's a couple that I'm excited about, but the draft is what we're really going to focus on, and really hopefully land really good prospects, and hopefully building out this team correctly, or in the eyes of Monty Ossenfort. So let me know what you guys' thoughts are on how you're feeling about this offseason for the Arizona Cardinals. Like I said a little earlier, it's probably going to be a lot of, very minimal videos being put put out unless there's breaking news coming our way or another big signing coming our way for the Arizona Cardinals. But as of right now, it's just one of those weird times where we're going to be shifting over to the NFL draft, which is going to be starting up here pretty soon. I think it's about a month away at this very moment. So let me know how you guys are feeling about this offseason. If you're going to be giving it a grade, let me know in the comments below, A through F. Let me know in the comments as to why. Appreciate you guys for tuning in. As always, have a great rest of your day, and as always, go Cards.